What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed. So smash that subscribe button for me if you don't mind, and turn on your notifications. If you also could, before we get started, look right below the video and smash that like button for me. It really helps with the algorithm. It helps promote the channel and get the message out. So what's up? We're going to talk about Congress today because we got a whole lot of stuff going on. And Congress, honestly, is broken. Regardless of what, if it's Republicans or Democrats, we'll call them Republicrats in charge, it's generally broken. We do have some people that are in Congress that are fighting the good fight and trying to stand up to the machine and do the right thing, clean up Congress. But the vast majority of Congress is screwed, right? Democrats don't get nothing done. Republicans don't get nothing done. All they do is put on show trials, and it's all just a bunch of BS. But we try to keep up with all this stuff going on, right? Because we need to know what they're doing. They're always doing underhanded stuff. So, Jim Jordan, James Comer, all them, House Oversight, Judiciary Committee, they may do some good things. They may do some things that I like. But I can tell you this. They are not on the list of good congressmen. But as we all know, we've been having an impeachment inquiry going on. Honestly, in my earnest opinion, it's a bit late in the game for that, don't you think? And what good is it going to do to impeach Joe Biden at this point? It's not really going to do any good. I do like the fact that they are doing the investigation, though, getting all the evidence out, because most people do not know exactly how corrupt Joe Biden is. And this will help spread that message, because Joe Biden is corrupt. However, the only bad part about that is this should have been done in 2019, to be honest with you. And if, Hunter Biden's laptop would have gotten out, say a year before it did, Joe Biden would not be president right now. Our border would be secure. And I think we'd be a whole lot better off. But let's get into the story right quick, because I don't want to rant on for too long, right? Because nobody wants to hear me ranting. You're here because of the news. House GOP demands answers to why FBI turned on informant Alexander Smirnov in Biden bribery case. That's right. Now, this is something I've been saying. Look, Alexander Smirnov gets arrested by the FBI for quote-unquote lying to the FBI. This was a guy that was an informant for the FBI for years. I think like 15-something years, right? And so they just all of a sudden turn on him. Right? We got the impeachment inquiry. It's just the timing is a bit questionable. And that's what I've done. I've questioned this. How do we know this guy's lying? Show the evidence that you know for a fact that this guy's lying, that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, James Biden, all them did not take a $5 million bribe from Burisma. How do we know that? Because all the evidence sure does point to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and those shell companies taking that bribery, getting the prosecutor fired and all that. It sure does look bad, but how do we know that's the truth, right? How do we know this guy's lying? That's what I want to know. This guy gets arrested, then the media immediately comes out, oh, the GOP impeachment inquiry is bogus because this guy was lying, because he got arrested by the FBI for lying. And they just ran with that like I'm supposed to believe it. It's like whatever the media says, we're just supposed to believe it? Nah, I'm going to question that a little bit. So let's get into it right quick, y'all. In a letter sent by House Republicans on Friday, the representatives are demanding that the FBI turn over records related to the indictment of former confidential human source Alexander Smirnov. The letter obtained by the Federalist was sent by House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer and Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan to FBI Director Christopher Wray and request documents related to Special Counsel David Weiss's indictment of Smirnov. They questioned why the FBI decided to conduct a review of Smirnov's credibility as a confidential human source, or CHS, around 3 years after the statements were made. with the CHS from FD 1023 being dated June 30th, 2020, and finally being able to be reviewed by Congress members in June of 2023. It sounds convenient, right? Like, that's why I said the timing of this just seems so convenient. You know, these guys are ramping up their impeachment inquiry, and all of a sudden, the key source for that impeachment inquiry gets arrested for quote-unquote lying. It all just seems so convenient, right? That's why we question these things. That's why I make videos like this, to get this information out to you guys, so we can be a little bit skeptical and not just believe what the mainstream narrative machine tells us, because they've lied to us before, they've lied to us a lot, and they'll lie to us again, and we've got to question their integrity, whether they're telling us the truth or not. And obviously, you know, it almost seems like Jim Jordan and James Comer watched my video the other day and are questioning, you know, we want to know if this guy was really lying or not, because our impeachment inquiry kind of hinges on this a little bit. The whole thing doesn't hinge on it, because there's a whole lot of evidence that Joe Biden was the product that Hunter Biden and James Biden were selling, in other words. It sure does appear that way. I'll put it that way. It may not be the case. It could all just look that way, but you know what they say. If it smells like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a motherfucking duck. Smirnov has been accused falsely telling the FBI that executives at Burisma had paid $5 million both to Hunter as well as the president. Prior to the indictment, the FBI allowed Mr. Smirnov to serve as a CHS for over 14 years and earn a six-figure income while maintaining extensive and extremely recent foreign intelligence contacts, lawmakers wrote. Later adding that it was only after Mr. Smirnov reported that President Joe Biden accepted a bribe from a Ukrainian energy company in exchange for using his official position to oust the Ukrainian prosecutor general did the FBI apparently take a hard look at this CHS. Once again, like I said, just seems convenient. Smirnov has pleaded not guilty to the charges and appeared in court on Monday, where a judge determined he must remain behind bars as he awaits trial. I wonder why that is as well. At each step of the investigation, the FBI represented the committees that the CHS was highly credible and that disclosure of the information about the CHS could jeopardize national security, Comer and Jordan wrote. Now, that is very, very interesting. That's, once again, puts more questions on this. How could this guy, his information that he's going to give to the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees, how could that be of national security interests, I wonder? Could it be because maybe what he's saying is the truth? Because obviously for 14 years, they thought this guy to be highly credible. And now all of a sudden that he's turned on Joe Biden, all of a sudden he's lying. He's not credible no more. Yeah, there's something funny going on here. And, you know, the FBI seems to be covering their tracks. That's what it appears to be to me. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. But see, once again, the FBI says, oh no, it'll jeopardize national security interests. But how? How will that jeopardize national security interests? Give me some answers to this, please. I would love to know how this jeopardizes our national security. Is it because it jeopardizes or it compromises the executive of the country? Joe Biden? Is that the reason? Love to know that one. The two detailed how the FBI fought to keep the congressional committees in the dark about the official FD 1023 form in which Smirnov outlined the bribery scheme. At no time did the FBI correct its representations to the committees about the credibility of the CHS or the apparently baseless assertions that release of his information would endanger Americans, they wrote. The FBI's non-cooperation prevented the committees from ever knowing Mr. Smirnov's identity, speaking with him directly or indirectly, or independently assessing the credibility of the information he provided. The FBI has been given until March 15th to provide the requested documents, and I can almost assure you they will not honor that request. you can almost be assured that it's going to go well past March 15th. It'll be probably much later. And it blows my mind. They do this all the time. Like I said, I try to keep up with Congress a lot. And the FBI, the DOJ, all these departments, especially under Biden, like I said, since I've been paying close attention to this, which has only really been since Joe Biden has taken office. I didn't really pay that close attention to it before, but since I have been paying close attention to this stuff, the FBI constantly goes past these dates. When congressional oversight wants to get some information, these departments, the FBI, the CIA, they don't want to give up that information. And they always use national security interests as their reason most of the time. And it blows my mind. Our system is set up so that one branch of the government, I should say, oversees the other one, and they all watch after each other because the FBI can investigate Congress, and Congress can most definitely investigate the FBI. However, Congress doesn't have near the stroke that the FBI has, right? Because the FBI is under the executive branch, and they have jurisdiction over the entire country. Congress, however, they don't have an FBI arm. They don't have a large, police force to go after FBI. It basically be the FBI having to go after itself. They do have investigators, and they do have the marshal's office. But, the marshal's office is something totally different as well. That's its own entity. But, the fact and how often and how brazen these people just deny oversight, right? That was the whole purpose of Congress, or part of their purpose, right? They're there to legislate, make up the laws that we all have to follow. But they're also there to make sure the executive branch doesn't turn into a tyrannical government. That was the whole purpose. That was the main purpose, is oversight. We're going to oversee this. The Supreme Court oversees everything. It's just set up so beautifully to where, if you lose the integrity of any of these institutions, the whole thing crumbles. Why? Because there's going to be a power vacuum. If Congress cannot fulfill their oversight duties, the FBI can run amok, right? The Supreme Court can't do much either because the Supreme Court enforces everything that they do through the DOJ. And the DOJ sides with the FBI because that's pretty much under the executive. Everything under the executive will be much more loyal to everything under the executive than they will to the Supreme Court or to Congress. Like I said, I just think it's crazy how brazen they just brush off oversight and just say, screw it. And we're not going to cooperate with your investigation. Do your own damn investigations is basically what they're saying. And that should outrage every single American. However, can we get the mainstream narrative machine to get behind that? No, they don't care. They really, really don't care. It takes people in independent news like me and like other independent news organizations to actually point this out to the American people. And it's a crying shame. If you could get NBC or Fox or somebody to cover some of this stuff, that would be great, because my reach isn't really good, to be honest with you. I'm trying to make it better. You guys could help me do that by hitting that subscribe button and hitting the like button as well, and I would appreciate that. But look, I've said enough about all this. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and be positive. Peace.